going to show you how I made my banner on Schoology from start to finish. So let's begin. The first thing you're going to do is go into PowerPoint, and you are going to open a blank page, and I'm just going to get rid of everything. I want a completely blank canvas. So I have my blank canvas here to start, and now I'm going to insert a text box. And I want this to say Mrs. Harris. All right, now I'm going to select all of this, and you can change your font before or after you start typing. And it's totally your preference. But for the sake of showing you, I'm just going to change it after I type. All right, so I'm going to use the font. These are fonts from A Perfect Blend. I got mine from Teachers Pay Teachers. And I am using tips from Hey Ashley G on Instagram on how to make mine, make my lettering how I want it. And then the method that I'm following for this embedding of my Schoology banner is from Coffee Teach Mom Repeat on Instagram and YouTube. So I wanted to give credit where credit is due on those. All right, so I'm using Perfect Blend Morning Java for my main font. And I'm going to bump that up to about 90. And then I'll stretch this out. Okay, perfect. And I'll go ahead and align it in the middle of my text box, just like that. Okay, now I want to change my font colors. Now to make it a little funky, I'm going to make each color, each letter a different color. So I'm literally just going to go around this little color honeycomb looking thing and just select various colors. It's a little tedious and time consuming, but it can also be fun. So I'm just going around this little honeycomb thing, letter by letter, whoops, color by color. Just changing things up. Do a little more of a yellowy orange. Okay, let's come up here. It's kind of a greenish. So you kind of see the funkiness of the name start to take shape. And then at this point, I am just going to head back to the color that we started with. So all your colors that you've been using are showing up down here in recent colors. So I'm just going to go back through those. Whoops. Just like that. Okay. So I like how this looks. Now, whoops, I want to give it a little bit of a funky look. So we're going to give it kind of that offset. So I'm going to make sure I've selected the text box so it's a solid line. And I'm going to do Control C or Command C if you're on a Mac. And then Control V or Command V. And now I have two of the same. Okay, so now on this second text box, I am going to format it so that there is no text fill, but I want a text outline, okay? And then on this outline, let's see, I'm going to, let's see, format shape. Over here at text options for text outline. Hold on. On the outline, sorry, it took me a minute to figure out where I wanted to be. I'm going to make the transparency 50%. And then I'm going to make the width 1.5. Okay, so it gave it kind of just a little more, little less of a bold look. I just want mine to be kind of barely there. So I'm going to line it up so that it is outlining the shape. And then I'm going to use my arrow keys to just barely offset it. So I'm going up and to the right. Okay, I'm actually going to go back to the left a little bit and down. Okay, I like how that looks. So that right there, doing that alone just gave me a very fun and funky look. Okay, now I want to add classroom in a more script-like font. So I'm going to type classroom. And for this one, I'm going to use PB Perfect Blend Soy Latte. And come down here, PB Soy Latte. And I'm also going to make this one 90 size. Great. Now, that looks cute and all, but I'm also going to format this one. So I'm going to come down here to Format Shape. And I'm going to give it a shadow. So I'm going to come over here to Presets. And you can just kind of play with what you like. So I kind of like this one. It's kind of offset. And then I want to make that bold just to make it a little more fun. Okay, so I really like how this looks. I like how it's overlapping. I just think that looks really nice. All right, the next step is to get your Bitmoji, the one that you want to use. So I like this one that was waving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to my Bitmoji extension on my Chrome, and I'm going to search wave. And right here I can find the one I want. So I'm going to right click and say Save Image As. And it will save in my downloads. That's what I want. All right, so now I'm going to insert pictures. I'm going to go to my downloads. I'm going to insert my Bitmoji waving. I'm going to bring her down just a little bit. And I like how that looks. Well, I don't really want to cover the S, so I'm going to come on. Okay. Whoop. Control Z is a good way to fix any errors that you might make. That's your undo button. All right. Okay, I think I like her there. But what I really want to do, again, Control Z will fix things. My goodness, I'm having so much trouble. I'm going to select my lettering, and I'm going to do Control G to make that one group. So now when I move this, it's not going to move my two separate letterings. Okay, so all I want to do is just try to get myself away from that S. There we go. Okay, now I'm not overlapping anything. So I like how this looks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my arrow and I'm going to click with my mouse and drag and select everything. Then I'm going to push Control G to make that all one group. Then I'm going to come up here to the solid line. I'm going to right click and do Save as Picture. And you can save this into your pictures, into anything you want. So I'm going to save it in my pictures under a folder. Schoology. Okay. I'm just going to name it Banner. All right. So I have my banner that I like so far. Next, I'm going to create some buttons. For the buttons, all I'm doing is creating circles and doing the exact same offset that we did with the lettering. So let me go back to our PowerPoint. And I'm going to come right here. If you don't have this box, you're going to go to Insert, Shapes, and we're just going to do a circle. Okay, and I want to make it even. Let's say I just want it to be 1.5 by 1.5. Okay, that just gives me a good even circle. Okay, so to fill this color, I'm coming up here to Shape Fill. So make sure you're in the Format tab. I'm going to Shape Fill. And I want this, I'm going to use my eyedropper to make this match the colors on my name. And for shape outline, I'm going to do no outline. But then I'm going to Control C or Command C and Control V to create a new shape and do exactly what we just did before. I'm going to do no fill, but I'm going to do an outline the exact same way we did before at 50% at 1.5 width. Okay, and then I'm going to line it up and then use my arrow keys to offset it just a smidge. Okay, I like how that looks. So let's say I want it to say math. So I'm going to type math, and for this one, I want to use PB, hyphenate, then dominate. And let's make this one 32 looks good. Just gonna center it. I'm gonna make it bold. Okay, so depending on the grade level you're in, you might want something more advanced. But yeah, we're just gonna do 1 + 1. Now I need to make it way smaller because it's too big. Perfect. I'll do a space between. Go a little smaller. All right, there we go. Now that's more to my liking. Okay, then you're going to do the exact same thing you did before. You're going to use your mouse and drag to select it all and do Control G to group it all. And right click on your solid line, just do Save as Picture. We'll save this one as a math button. Okay. Then we can just Control C, Control V. It's the same size, it's the same everything. Now I'm going to right click and do Ungroup so that I can get in here and change the color. So here on my formatting, it shows the color. And I'm going to use the eyedropper. Let's do the pink. Okay. And let's say we want to make this one reading. Add a little bigger. And then I'm going to change this. I'm going to delete this text box. Now we can go into Icon Finder. And we will search reading. And find a book. Or we can just search book. And I like this one, so I'm going to open it. And I'm going to change this color to white. And then I'm going to download the icon. And I like to download it to the biggest size just because why not? So it's in my downloads. So now I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. Oops, and insert a picture. And it's this last one that I inserted. It's very large. So now I'll bring it down to scale and put it inside of my button. And you can just continue this process over and over until you have all the buttons you need. And that iconfinder.com has been my favorite thing to find icons that I like to put inside my buttons. Okay, so this is all I'm going to do for now, but you could just as easily, I'm going to Control G to group it, save it as a picture, reading button. So again, you could just copy and paste, change the colors. Oops, Control Z. Ungroup it. Change the color, use the eyedropper, do the orange, delete your icon, change this to social studies. You could leave it like that. And I would do something like maybe get a globe or the earth and maybe put that there. Okay, so now that we've saved all of these as pictures, now we're going to go into my drive. And we're going to go to New more Google Drawings. Okay, and I'm going to name this Schoology Banner, Schoology Welcome Banner, whatever you choose to call it. And I'm going to go into my page setup, custom, and make this 10 by 6, just to get it a little bigger. Now, the first thing I'm going to do before I forget is change my share settings, because if you do not have this to anyone with a link can view, your students will see an error message. So you want anyone with a link can view, get that out of the way before you forget. Okay, now I'm going to insert my image. I'm going to upload it from the computer. I'm going to go into my pictures where I had my folder, Schoology. I'm going to bring in my picture. I'm just going to make it the full size of the document. Okay, I like how that looks. And then I'm going to insert my buttons. So we're going to upload those pictures. Obviously, they're much bigger than I would want them. Control Z, again, guys, if you move anything by accident, Control Z or Command Z is your friend. All right, so I like how that one is. And then I'm going to go find my reading one. And as I resize, you can see these blue lines pop up. So that just means that it is the same height as that the other blue line. So that means my buttons match. And that's what I want. Okay, and then I might do like 2 more buttons. Like on mine, I have a word wall and a games. And that eyedropper tool is what I use to match all of these to my name. Okay, so then we want to link these. Okay, so you're going to come up here to link. Say that you wanted to link it to ABCYA, some of their math games. So I'm going to go to first grade. I'm going to go to numbers. Okay, so I like these math games. So I'm going to copy, Control C, this link. I'm going to come over here to our banner, and I'm going to paste Control V into that link. Okay, so now that's live and it's a link. Okay, and then for reading, let's say that I have it, I want to go to Humble Books. I wouldn't recommend having this go somewhere where the students are going to have to log in, but for the sake of showing y'all the link and how to do it, I'm going to have it go there. So when I click on them, I see that the links are live. All right, so now for the fun part. I'm going to go into my course. Now I'm going to use my sandbox course for this because I want y'all to see exactly how this shows up. So you get into your course and you go to add materials. Then you're going to go to add page. And I'm just going to make this say welcome banner. Really doesn't matter what you call it because you're not going to publish this for your students to see. You're going to insert content, and over here, Google Drive Resource App. That's what you want to open. It's going to load, and this is what we were just working on. So the Schoology Welcome Banner, I'm going to select that over here on the left, go to Import, Import Embed. Okay, so you should have this yellow box. When you click on it, you can either resize it manually, or you can click on this landscapey button and type in your dimensions you want. So I just do 425 in the second box and let it do the rest on its own. So I'm going to insert, and this is still exactly what you want to see. I'm going to make sure that this is not selected. I want it to display on a new page, so I'm not going to click that. That's exactly what I want it to do. And I don't need this published, so I'm going to make that not be green. And then I'm going to create it. Okay, then I'm going to open my welcome banner. So we see it's there, and you can see that the links are active. And I'm going to highlight it by clicking anywhere and dragging up. So when it turns blue, it is highlighted. Then I'm going to Control C or Command C, copy it. Then we go to Updates. And I'm going to, in the text box, do Control V or Command V. And if you see these scroll bars, you can scroll up and see it's in there. Okay. And I'm going to make this an announcement by clicking this bell over here. Okay, and then I'm going to post it. And there is your banner. They will see it in the materials page and the updates page as well. And you can click, and this is why we say open in a new window, because when they click on it, it will open in a new window for them, which I love. Okay, but let's say that you decide that you want to add something new, okay? You want to add a new button or a new link. So let's say that you want to do a games button, and you want this to go to some sort of computer game. I'm resizing it so that it matches the size of the other ones. Using those as a guide. That red line, okay. And then let's go to turtlediary.com. Okay, and I'm going to choose first grade, just because that's the grade that I work with. If you work with something else, you can choose something else. I'm going to go to games, and I'm just going to copy the link and then paste the link here. Okay, so my link is active here. All right, now for the cool part. So I'm going to go back into my sandbox. You don't see my other button there. However, when I go and refresh it, it is now there for the students to use. So basically, once you upload and embed your banner through the Google Resource app, it becomes a living document you can constantly change and add to. If you decide you don't want the games button, you can take that out, rearrange things, add new text boxes, and then you just go and refresh, and it's different. It's a good fun element you can add to your Schoology banner. I hope this helps, and good luck with Schoology.